I bet I could, bitch, I bet I would. On the low, what's up with you, ho? Bitch, you smoking drone, bitch, you know, bust like 44 when I spit that.
Westworld series premiere, Life Find a Way Season 1. Episode 1, the original. The 1973 science fiction western Westworld was the element filmmaking. Introduction of Michael Crichton, who composed and coordinated the film not long after in the wake of having built up himself as a short writer, generally under a pen name. The reason of his leap-forward novel, 1969's The Andromeda Strain, around an outsider microorganism that develops to debilitate mankind, served as the DNA for huge numbers of the fictions that made him a commonly recognized name. In Crichton's doomsayer sci-fi, one little glitch in the framework can trigger irreversible bedlam on a mass scale, and he infrequently left behind the chance to send his perusers into a frenzy. All things considered, Crichton's Westworld was the model for his most renowned work, Jurassic Park, another anecdote around an amusement park fixed by the defects and hubris of its makers. In both Westworld and Jurassic Park, guests pay as much as possible to have their chronicled dreams acknowledged with Technicolor, distinctiveness, as the Old West and the dinosaurs are summoned from termination. Crichton's proposition is that these vivified creatures, the robot cowpokes of Westworld, the T-Rexes and velociraptors of Jurassic Park, can't be controlled. Their hardware is excessively mind-boggling, excessively helpless, making it impossible to the imperfections of mankind. In view of the main scene of HBO's Westworld alone, makers Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy have fabricated themselves a superior model, which, in Crichton's reasoning, ought to improve the probability of things going amiss. Crichton never welcomed us to think about the androids as much else besides astoundingly similar machines, when Yellbrenner's automated gunslinger shorts out and begins executing the visitors in the first film. He resembles an early model of Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator, complete with robot perspective shots. By tweaking Westworld to consider the robot's point of view, Nolan and Joy have opened it up into a week-by-week disquisition on being human, which puts it more in accordance with Token, the splendid personality-drinking spray Nolan made with his sibling, Christopher. Told backward sequential request. Keepsake is a puzzle around a man, Guy Pearce, who experiences fleeting memory misfortune, a condition so serious that he overlooks everything that transpired 15 minutes prior. His answer is to make an arrangement of tattoos and Polaroid photos to help him collect learning and correct requital on the individual who killed his significant other. Yet, this framework can be effectively controlled by the individuals who don't have his best advantages at the top of the priority list, and it opens him up to self-duplicity. In Keepsake, the Nolans land at an intense decision about how the brain functions, about the stories and the falsehoods we instruct ourselves to traverse the day. Through the appearance of a twisty thriller, they separate one character to the essential building pieces of how we develop our personality. The Westworld arrangement debut recommends that Jonathan Nolan and Mr. Satisfaction are determined to melding Crichton's mayhem hypothesis with the thoughts of Token, which is goal-sufficiently oriented in theory, before including the difficulties of a colossal outfit cast and session of Thrones. Estimated world building. That is a great deal of hard work for any first hour to do. Keeping in mind it's pulled off delightfully, that scene may open up additional on a second review, when you can pick the bits of your cerebrum off the floor. Likewise Token. The main survey made them scratch my head, attempting to confound it out. The second had me in tears. It's thick with data, additionally thick with feeling, as we witness signs that the android has in Westworld are tipping from human-like to just human. Mr. Nolan and Mr. Satisfaction are keen to outline the scene around Dolores, a host who welcomes each new day with confidence and closures it with some blend of viciousness, debasement, and misfortune. A few people see the grotesqueness in this world, the chaos, she says in the end portrayal. I see the excellence. After the detestations that we've recently seen, her good faith is stacked with a deplorable incongruity. Disaster has turned into her schedule. A Groundhog Day in which she and alternate hosts have no office, serving at the impulses of park visitors who need to work out their rough and sexual dreams, without the weight of good, or lawful, outcome. The visitors come looking for flexibility, as like Dolores are customized to concede it at their own cost. In the film rendition of Westworld, Crichton welcomes us to mistake androids for people. Yet just to a point. It's not a disaster when Brenner's gunslinger gets struck down, in light of the fact that the film marks him immovably as a robot. One of numerous that a group of professionals need to gather up and make entire again for one more day at the recreation center. This most recent Westworld is limitlessly all the more irritating, in light of the fact that the scene begins with the possibility that the androids are breaking out from the canned stories and qualities that their makers have customized into them. Keeping in mind we will be unable to consider them to be completely human yet. There's a level of mindfulness that is saturating their hearts, free of their configuration. A line has been crossed at the Westworld Park, and the line has been crossed for us viewers who are losing the separation we would some way or another have from robots who are getting tormented, killed or sexually disregarded, as it were. We're in for a horrendously bleak appear. Keep perusing the fundamental story-related coverage audit. Westworld is a provocative yet flawed sci-fi shoot 'em up sept. 30. 2016 is Westworld HBO's next big hit. Sept. 29. 2016 off camera. There's a captivating strain creating among the makers, specialists, storytellers and administrators of the recreation center, who are all in charge of its upkeep and security, however have ulterior thought processes that put them at chances. This scene discovers them passing unpretentiously past the final turning point, as a redesign intended to add intricacy and profundity to the hosts presents the likelihood that the androids are advancing past their maker's control. Dr. Robert Ford, Anthony Hopkins, the visionary in charge of Westworld, has included motions to the hosts that draw on recollections of past developments. However, the additional validness comes at an unpleasant expense. Alternately isn't that right? Westworld coaxes out the probability that Ford's manifestations are not minor amusement park attractions at the same time. Rather, some portion of some corporate endgame that the show will take as much time as is needed uncovering. The best guide for seeing where this could go is the brilliant Joss Whedon arrangement, Dollhouse, which additionally began as a show about programmable people serving rich customer base, yet formed into a trick-minded thriller with additional broad ramifications. There's a lot of space for hypothesis. Yet for the present, Westworld is subsiding into a dream area where the brilliance of the morning is obscured by the standard revulsions of the day. Androids like Dolores need a hard reboot to overlook what's transpired? However now, the stain of experience isn't so effectively scoured. Suspicious androids. Far an excessive amount of material for me to cover in a solitary recap. However, narrating will be a basic topic on the appear. Stories are the guideposts that keep Westworld contained, constraining hosts to work inside the limits of interlocking accounts. Stories are likewise how individuals understand the world, as the androids turn out to be more human-like. Responsibility for story will undoubtedly turn into a principal purpose of contention. In a show edgy for caprice, the player piano interpretations of chronologically erroneous tunes like Dark Hill Sun and Paint It Black are a pleasant touch. Westworld offers guests an immersive Old West experience. Yet the music is a useful update that it isn't genuine. Mr. Harris' gunslinger character is a dark cabinist reality, toying cruelly with the hosts like a child burning ants with an amplifying glass. He speaks to mankind as its most corrupted. However, the scene recommends that his enthusiasm for the mechanics of Westworld isn't entirely different from that of the recreation center's makers. The throwing is brilliant all around. Yet watch out for Sitz Babette Knudsen as Teresa Cullen, the savvy head of operations at Westworld. Any individual who has seen The Duke of Burgundy, a radiant sensual dramatization from 2014, will recollect Ms. Newson's execution as a hesitant dominatrix who will do just about anything to satisfy the lady she adores. Just about anything to satisfy the lady she adores.